Just this side here. First question on, oh, no. Sorry. On the right-hand side, thank you.
Hi, Chris. Welcome to Europe. I'm from Spain. When do you see players like Victor, like Luka, like Jokic? How do you think in the future of the NBA, and how do you empower Victor to follow these kind of players?
How do I empower him to follow them?
Or to be the new face of the NBA for the next years?
Man, I think Vic just got to be himself. You know, I was just like anybody else. I went and watched Vic play before he even got to the NBA. And last year, I watched him just like everybody else, saw all of the fanfare. And so now I have a different perspective, getting a chance to see him day in and day out, getting a chance to see his work ethic, and getting a chance to see and know who he is, like, personally. And it's just different. It's different to see his humility, to see his work ethic, to see how happy he is to be here, to be able to play in front of his family and friends, people who raised him, you know what I mean? So only time will tell, but if I was a betting man, I would bet in his favor. And I am.
Thank you. Left-hand side, next question.
To be clear, you are a betting man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I know how excited you were to play for Pop when you came to the Spurs, and obviously the situation happened. How difficult has that been for you, and how would you, kind of assess the job that Mitch has done in some really difficult circumstances, obviously?
Man, it's crazy. It's a two-part question because I still remember the day that I signed with the Spurs and I was in Vegas, and I actually got a picture of me being on the phone with Pop, and obviously we didn't know what happened was going to happen, and I almost hate it for him more than anything. Not me. I definitely wish he was there, but I hate it for him because he's one of a kind. I played against him, and so to see the passion that he has as a coach, I'm grateful for how he's doing, and I'm not even sure if this is public, but he calls, you know what I mean? He calls after games, and I talk to him, and he tells me what he sees, and I appreciate that more than anything because he doesn't have to do that, and he does.
Thank you.
And Mitch has been great. It's crazy. They always talk about the difference in that seat, going from the assistant coach to the head coach, and obviously he didn't know that this was going to happen, but he's been amazing. I've played for long enough now to where, you always have these assistant coaches that you sort of talk to all the time, right? And then you become the head coach and guys don't talk to you as much, but Mitch has handled it unbelievably well, and it's cool to be able to, see his growth and to see his process along with our whole coaching staff.
Thank you. Just behind.
Hi, Chris. I'm pretty sure you envision playing with Wemby when you signed with the Spurs. How much is different now that you're actually playing with him?
It's way different, because when you sign, everybody's like, oh, Lob City #2, you know what I mean? All this stuff. But it's different because Vic is so unique. I think everybody just expects him to dunk because he's tall, and that is not him by any means. He can dribble, he can pass, he can shoot. He does a little bit of everything, and that's why it's been so fun to play with Vic. Defensively, I'm a guy who goes for steals. I just don't know how to not go for steals. And so to play with Vic now, guys are dribbling into the lane, and I'll reach and get a foul, and Vic could just tap me on the shoulder and remind me that he's back there. You know what I mean? So I think his awareness on both ends of the court, offensively and defensively, is something that you just don't see all the time.
Next question on the left.
Hey, Chris. I also have a two-part question. I know you know some Spanish. Do you know any French?
Yeah. ¿Cómo se va?
And I guess the other part is some of the players haven't played overseas. How much is on personal level increase the growth on players playing in Mexico City, playing in Paris, for example? How much on a personal level do you think that helps?
It helps. You're saying if you have experience playing overseas? I mean, once the ball gets thrown up, it's just a game. You know, I think this is what's different, right? You know, especially for a young team. You travel to NBA city after NBA city. You know, you really only get this type of media when it's like the playoffs or the finals or something like that, you know? And so, and obviously we're in this unbelievable facility. We're in Paris, you know, and the regular season is going on. You know, we check our phones and we see that teams are still in their cities playing the regular game. So it's cool to be here, and we get a chance to take everything in. But you know, once the ball gets thrown up, it should all be normal again. And luckily, we got Vic on our team, so it should be 2 home games. Yeah.
Hey, Chris. For as long as you've been in the league and the stature that you've reached personally, you've been to a number of these dinners. You've probably hosted a number of these dinners. But I'm curious for your thoughts on the dinner that Vic hosted for you guys on Monday night. Like, what stood out to you and what you thought of it?
Yeah, it wasn't just a dinner. We went to a certain store first too. You know, Vic is very different in what he does and how he's very giving as far as like making sure that we experience everything that we can while we're here. You know, if it's going to see where he played when he was younger, if it's the different foods that we try and stuff. And I think that's was really cool. And the dinner that we had with just the guys, it's just more, he just wants us to be comfortable. You know, the bus ride here, you know, we were riding here to practice, and Vic was just talking about how beautiful it was, you know, just everything. And he just, I say that some of these people hear me say this all the time, but he's just wise beyond his years. Like, he's very smart. He knows the history of, we were talking about when the Louvre was built and why it was built. We was talking about all these different things, and probably because I'm older, I appreciate it. Yeah.
We'll take our final question for Chris up front on the left, please.
Hey, Chris. You referenced earlier, like, there are times on defense when Vic will, like, tap you on the shoulder and be like, I'm back here.
Yeah.
I imagine there's a lot that obviously there's a lot that he can learn from you and that he probably has learned from you. How does he balance that, like, you know, that sort of absorbing your years of knowledge versus speaking up sometimes when there's something that he's noticed or that he can share?
That's a good question, because I think it goes both ways. It's both a balancing act for both of us, right? Like, as much as I know, I'm still learning. You know, like I go for steals. That's what I've always done. And so I hear him when he says that. And now I've gotten so much better at letting a guy go, and then sure enough, Vic blocks it. You know, and I think that's important in any relationship, is making sure that if I'm going to tell them things, they got to be able to tell me things too. And I think Vic does a good job of that. You know, he might tell me when I set a screen, roll. You know, I'm not used to that. Never done that in my career. So I think our team is going to continue to grow in that way, and Vic has been amazing in allowing me to tell him things, but also teaching me things along the way too.
Thank you so much, Chris.
No doubt.
Good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.